I want to welcome everyone and thank you for attending. What we're talking about today is managing your entire startup in one cost-effective platform. And the way that this came about, not only are we working with customers who are startups or very small businesses who are hoping to scale and grow very quickly, but two really important things happened. One, I was speaking with a colleague who is just absolutely amazing about helping customers scale their business through partnerships. He's from a company called Ultimate Partnerships. His name's Vince Menzione, and he's just super smart in his space. And he was reviewing SmartSuite with me, and we were having a philosophical discussion about business. And he said, this is such a great startup tool for entrepreneurs, micro businesses, solopreneurs, because it is all on one platform. And it gave me the idea to talk to you about this today. In addition to that, I was listening to a couple of YouTube interviews and presentations about citizen developers being 10 times faster to market with no-code solutions, 10 times easier to scale their businesses with no-code solutions, and greater than 10 times less expensive to use a no-code platform instead of some of the disparate offerings for core processes. So when you think about starting a business, obviously the resources of technology, resources of perhaps a brick and mortar building, perhaps not anymore, the resource costs for insurances, all of those kind of lend themselves to a very large foundation of expenses. Your HR costs, benefits, all that great stuff. Add to that, Avi, if you'd bring back the slides, I'd like to say that many companies, especially small micro businesses, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, buy different platforms for going to slide 3, please. Thanks. Many different platforms for CRM, onboarding, task management, product management and delivery, marketing automation, HR, like all of these different solutions are a cost to starting a business. So if you're looking at adding an additional $600 to $1,000 a month for all of these different licenses, different solutions that don't talk to each other, and you must conform to the process that those solutions make you have, it's costing you time, it's costing you efficiencies, and obviously it's costing you hard dollars. So when we look at SmartSuite for managing and scaling your startup, we look at our approach to having these solutions on one platform at a very low cost of entry. One user license at $10 per user per month for all of these solutions versus a license here, a license there, a license everywhere. So Avi, if you can go to the next slide, that would be great. What you're seeing here is some of the core solution templates that SmartSuite offers you for your license fee. This is only some of them, but we picked these because we think they're important to a startup. How are you managing your product management process? How are you looking at each phase of product development and distribution, each phase of product fixes, because sometimes there might be a bug or two? How are you marketing this solution to the world and keeping track of all of your social media accounts, all of your brand assets, all of your marketing materials, all of your target markets, all of your outlets? And then how are those marketing programs contributing to your sales? Are you tracking the accounts that are coming in from those marketing programs? Are you seeing the cost benefit analysis of here's where we spent our marketing time and resources on our dollars, and here's the yield that we got. Here's how many leads that came in from that particular campaign. Are you tracking those accounts? What happens when those account leads turn into opportunities? How are you assigning them to different people, getting them into the hands of your sales team and your executive team to close the deal and bring in revenue? And speaking of teams, how are you doing with your hiring? We know that we put job postings out on job boards and we have resumes that come in, but are you tracking why you're looking for certain talent? Are you expressing to that talent pool, what it is that you actually want from them, and determining their qualifications for that. How are you tracking their onboarding process? Is everyone being properly trained once you've hired them? And so forth. And so SmartSuite really helps in these 4 areas, getting you to market and getting you the right people. In addition to that, we use a lot of SmartSuite for once a sale happens to onboard our customers, and not only to onboard our customers, but to reinforce our brand and our image to those customers and help those customers evangelize our brand to others. We absolutely live and die by our customer feedback, and we use that feedback in our product roadmap. We use that for enhancements. We use that to ensure that a customer is absolutely delighted. And if a customer is at risk, what do we do to ensure that they don't leave? And then finally, if you're a startup, you might be looking for some fundraising, and we have a way of tracking and targeting different funding attributes in various areas. And so we'll talk about some of these in a little bit more depth. But why we're talking about these, I think that's really important. Avi, if you could go to the next slide, that would be great. Why we're talking about these particular ones are because SmartSuite was a startup. And these are the areas where we really used our own product. And so I thought that was something that would be beneficial to you because we could tell the real story. In addition to that, we use every facet of the no-code platform for associating people with tasks, creating automations that once a status changes, the next person or the next team is alerted and notified and can actually start their work. We use every aspect of creating custom fields to meet our process instead of buying a product that tells us how we're supposed to do our work. And so when Avi takes over in the next couple of minutes, he's going to show you a couple of real life implementations of some of our solution templates and how you might use those and how you can also change those to meet your process. If anyone has any questions now, we'll stop here for a second and we'll give you the opportunity to ask them. If not, we can move over to the live demonstration. I think we're okay. Avi, it's all you.
Thank you, Tara. That was a really great overview. I can relate to every word that you said with startups being able to manage all their processes in one single platform and just having that power and flexibility of building out. Every startup is unique, right? And the reason so many startups exist is because they each have a unique business model, and you have to be able to build out custom processes to support that unique business model. And so it's very important to have a good no-code platform that can support and accomplish all of that. So I guess we'll just run through a few different solutions that we actually use internally in SmartSuite. I'm on the demo account so that we're not showing any real data, but we use very similar processes internally. We do everything in SmartSuite on SmartSuite. And I'll just run through a few different solutions and how we use them. And feel free to chime in, and I'm happy to take questions from any of the attendees. So I guess we'll get started with sales CRM because I know a startup has to focus over there and bring in the customers, or else there's not real continuation for the startup. Sales is an important piece. In the sales CRM, what you see over here, just in this particular template, is you have website inquiries, right? And you may be receiving all sorts of website inquiries and you want to go through them, look at them, see the information that came through, maybe do some online research, look them up on social media, and then you want to move the process along and move them into an opportunity, a lead, an account, etc. And so SmartSuite has a very nice piece where you can create forms, right? This is a nice thing to put on your website or anywhere else you're collecting leads, where it becomes very easy to bring in leads. And then the next piece that you're going to be looking at is obviously you're going to start managing your contacts and your accounts that you're dealing with. And so you may want to be tracking their social media or their website or all the information that you may be tracking. You're going to be, again, this is you can see how this is set up, where we're tracking over here all the different contacts and different information that relates to the contact. And we set up over here different views so that we can easily see contacts by location. So I can see a world map of where my contacts are, contact summary, where I can group them by company. And so this is actually a really nice view. I love using this view where I can just see all my contacts broken down by companies. I can just scroll through them and really quickly see, what company they're from, where they're located, click to see their social media easily, click to dial their phone number. I know if they're VIPs or not VIPs, if I want to pay some extra close attention to them or whatnot. And then I can click into their account and easily see their account information and go through that and see the opportunities that they're linked to. So obviously contacts are going to be linked to accounts, and these are the different companies that we have. And then as we're working through these contacts and accounts, at a certain stage, we're going to pursue them for an actual deal. Maybe they're interested, or maybe they contacted us. And so we're going to want to see, we're going to want to start managing an actual flow and process of how a deal goes through. And so if you take a look over here, for example, we have different accounts and they have different statuses, right? So I'm tracking all the different accounts, and I have my account managers of who's in charge. And then let's take, for example, Swing and Cardle. So I'm going to be the account manager on this account. And so I might be working this account, and I can see their size. I can see what type of account they are, where they're located, their social media. I can click in and see a lot more information. But maybe then it's time, right now they're a lead, and maybe it's time for me to actually pursue them and they're interested. So maybe I just got off a call with one of their contacts or whatnot. And so I can simply switch the status from lead to pursuit. And what happens over here when I switch the status from lead to pursuit, instead of having to manually go ahead and create an opportunity in my CRM, as you can see over here, I have a new opportunity called Swinging that already came in. I was assigned as the owner of this deal. The stage by default is in the new stage, and it's already linked to the account, right? So this was literally the account that I was showing right over here that I just changed from lead to pursuit. And now I have a new opportunity that was created automatically and is already linked. So I know that account is associated with this deal. And now I can come in here and I can start filling out the rest of the information. So for example, I can come in here and say, maybe here are my contacts, or fill out the estimated value of the deal and whatnot. Over here, you can see I have the rest of my deals filled out with the estimated value. Here's something really nice that I like doing always, is putting a sum for the deal amount so that I can quickly at a glance see, first of all, each stage of my CRM, how many dollars are sitting in that stage. And then I can see total, how many dollars are sitting in my.
So I have a couple of questions for you, Avi, while you're going through this. One is, once you are assigned this new opportunity, is it possible to create a notification that is sent to the owner of the account to say, and the account team that's being assigned, that we want to meet on this pursuit, let's say? So using automations, would you be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if that's your process, where anytime a new opportunity is created, you want to regroup and figure out how we're going to take on this account, it is a very simple way where we can just set up a simple automation. And I'm going to do this literally on the fly. And we have over here the original automation that created that account. And what I'm going to do is aside from just creating a record, I'm also going to send an email. And I'm going to send this email to the account manager. And maybe I want to include a bunch of other team members. So I'm going to send it to my manager. And we're going to say, let's meet to talk about, and I'm going to pull in the account name so that I always know the account name. And I can type over here a custom message and say, hey, they are interested and whatnot. And in the notification center, I'm going to send myself a notification, just letting myself know that, hey, there's a notification going out. And I can simply just add this automation. And the next time that I convert a account from lead to pursuit, not only will a new opportunity get created and assign the necessary account manager, but it will also, there we go, this just got created automatically. It will also send out an email notification that I just received in my inbox saying, hey, let's meet. And it sent that notification to Tara, John, and whoever the account manager is. And notice, by the way, that the account manager is being assigned automatically as well, because in the accounts, she was the account manager. So we're assuming she's going to be the lead on this deal. And
And I
so
just got mine as well. So thank you for that, Avi. I just got my email as well. So
there you
what
go.
we're doing is we're taking tasks that you would do manually every single time a lead converts to a pursuit or a pursuit converts to a customer, et cetera. And rather than having to do all of that manually, SmartSuite is doing that for you automatically through automations. And so what we're trying to do is say, look, we understand that there's a typical progression of how we manage leads to pursuits and opportunity management and deal closure and stuff like that. We're just trying to take your approach through our automations and automate it. Now, Avi, what if I wanted to send some information about Bloomjoy, the main customer at Bloomjoy that I've dealt with in the past, and I want to do a comment on that account or on that opportunity for John? Can you show us how you would be able to collaborate through not only notes and description, but a comment that I can assign to someone?
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's a common one, right? You always want to collaborate with your team members. Maybe someone can help you on this deal, or maybe someone can kind of fill you in or give you some advice from a previous account. And so on each record, in this case, it's a deal, right? You want to collaborate with other team members. And so you can, first of all, anytime you have a conversation with them and you want to keep track of that, you can comment for yourself, and you can say, just had a great call.
Like activity notes, but more than that, I think is collaborating with, since we're all working remotely now, instead of picking up the phone and bothering John, which I'm sure he would appreciate that I don't do, is to just say, hey, let's mention him. When he gets a chance, let's notify him to come into this general information and look at my comment.
Yep. So I can comment and call John's attention and say, hey, John, what should we pursue them with? Or what should we charge them? And if I really have something that I need to assign to him, as opposed to just let him know that piece of information, I can even just click that box and it's automatically noticing that John is mentioned in this comment. And so we can assign this to John. So John gets assigned, and then John or I can come in and mark it as resolved, but no one else, because it's between me and John. And this will go on to John's to-dos, because he knows he has to get back to me on this. And John can simply come in here and just reply and even mention me and let me know what his thoughts are, right? Or if it's not a task for John, but I just want to keep John in the loop and let him know this is going on, I can just mention him, and without assigning him to it, I can just comment and let him know it's going great. So
I think what this leads us to discuss is there's lots of comments, lots of assignments, lots of tasks, lots of notifications. Is there a single place where we can go and look at, when we start our day on SmartSuite, look at everything that we've been assigned, and every time we have a task, or where the task is in its due date, priority?
Yeah, absolutely. So a few key things that will really help you manage your kind of daily to-dos is the My Work section, which centralizes all of your tasks from across the entire platform and allows you to work. And so if you can see over here, I've not been so good about my tasks, and I have about 6 overdue tasks, but I can come in here and start working directly on them. And again, jumping into the comments and getting the attention of whoever I need to get and collaborating with my team. I can look through my closed assignments, or I can go to the notification center and see all of my notifications. So over here, by the way, I see the notification that I got saying, hey, we just created an automation. So anytime an automation happens, I need to know that happened. I need to know that a lead was created. And so I get that notification over here, and I can jump right into it. But over here, I can go through all the rest of my notifications that I have, and I can look at them by the unread or what mentioned me, assigned to me, etc. But this is an easy way. As someone who's running a business, there's a million things coming at you, and you just want to have a simple list that centralizes everything instead of having to jump through the CRM and the product feedback and the product management and the marketing. You can just come into one place and have all of your tasks and easily see what they're related to.
So I think that also talks to us about how we process information today as business owners, right? There's multiple Slack channels. There's email accounts, which, understanding our team, not everybody reads their email. And so if you're emailing a notification or if you're sending a notification to a Slack channel, those things can possibly be seen. And I think, all right, I'll take care of that later. But if I'm in SmartSuite, I go directly to the notification center, directly to my tasks, and all of that stuff that I was notified on in those other channels is there in one central place. So I think we've done a lot on sales CRM, and we can talk a lot more about this. But what I'd love to see is, how are we working on our marketing campaigns? How are we working on hiring the appropriate resources and so forth? So if you want to, unless anybody has more questions on the sales CRM aspect of this, we'd love to show how we can determine our marketing dollars that we spent leading to new deals. Are the campaigns that we're working on actually helping us to bring about revenue, not just brand awareness? And so,
of course, I just want to show one cool piece that I really enjoy myself, which is when you actually win that deal and it's time to bring that customer in and go through the onboarding process, whatever that onboarding process looks like for you. One really nice feature I like using is always something that I set up over here, which is anytime the deal moves through, right? So it moves through, let's say you set up your different stages, but as soon as you get to closed one, what happens is we have an automation that fires that will say, hey, it's time for onboarding. And so we have a completely separate area where we're managing all of our customer onboarding. And again, we have over here our customers, our contacts, our onboarding tasks, and our resource library. But in order to get that process triggered, we want to have, I think when running a business, it's always very important to have a seamless process so that nothing falls through the cracks. And so it's important that as soon as that deal closes, the onboarding team knows to kick in and get going. And as you can tell over here in the process that we set up, as soon as you hit closed one, an email will go out to the contact that is linked to this deal and will say, hey, thank you for signing the deal. It's time for your onboarding process. And they will get an email with a form. And as soon as they fill out that form, comes into right over here, and that triggers the full onboarding process. But either way, I just had to share that because I love that process. But going into marketing, we have over here, this is actually the exact template that we use internally at SmartSuite. It's just super robust, what we have in here. So I'll just walk through it real quick. And if anyone has any questions, or Tara, if you want to lead me to the right direction. But over here, we centralize all of our high level plans and group them by who's taking charge of it or who's taking the lead on it. And over here is basically the high level brainstorming of, let's say, help articles, right? So that's going to be a key piece. Maybe it's not exactly marketing, but that's a key piece for product marketing, right? Like, people have to know how to use your product. And so we have over here a list of all of our different plans. And then internally, we're tracking which team is assigned to it, what's the status of this plan, a description, which is totally a full document where you can go ahead and take notes and really keep track of things, set up goals. You have checklists where you can have key tasks and assign them to particular people. So maybe there's multiple items that have to happen in order to execute on this. And then we have links to our supporting documents that are living elsewhere. But let's say we're using certain images or templates or documents for this marketing plan, we can link them here so that we have access to them here. And then we move into people and personas where we're tracking our different marketing targets and who we're marketing to. So we can always keep that in mind when we're building out different marketing campaigns, who we're talking to and what they care about. And so again,
if we could stop there for a second, these personas really help with serving ads. They also help with the discussion points that might be of interest to these particular personas, knowing your audience and knowing your target market. So if we're talking to someone who's not really technical, but they absolutely want to buy our solution and have the freedom to hire someone to change and create and manage SmartSuite as a no-code platform, we know that this demographic and personality is not going to respond well to highly technical information. They buy with their hearts, they buy with their eyes, they understand the premise of no code, but perhaps they're not like deep in the weeds. And so using personas at the executive level, perhaps, is a really good way to begin to understand what are the marketing plans that we want to associate with this type of buyer. And so personas are just one piece of the puzzle. The next is, what visuals do we have in our resource library or in our image library? What type of content do we want to send to them so that we see how they respond? And then when we look at brand assets, are we being consistent in our color schemes, our logos, our style guides, and everywhere that we present SmartSuite, it looks the same and people recognize our brand. And so if you're not doing, this is a great way to get started on managing your style guide. An image library of every image that's on our website, every image that we use in our marketing, every image that you see on any of our promotional materials, LinkedIn, and so forth. Creating consistency in your process using a platform such as SmartSuite. And then really looking at, how do we request additional images that we might want? Some of us might request images that are really not necessary. And so I can do an image request and I'll be able to look back and say, you know what, Tara, we already did that for a webinar that we did 6 months ago. Here's the image, and so forth. And then finally, the sad news is sometimes people come and go, and we have passwords and style guides and social media programs that we want to always adhere to. And the social media manager might leave. I've heard of several marketing agencies where the social media manager left and they were locked out of all of their accounts. So what does social media accounts do for us here at SmartSuite? We have the account information, the account owner, the password, our tone of voice, how we want to be portrayed, anything that we're posting to that channel, and so forth. So managing this all in one place not only helps us to stay organized, but it helps us to stay connected. And then if we're working with an agency, who are those agency contacts and what do they do for us? What are the programs that we have going out to the agencies? If an agency contact is in charge of a large dollar amount of our marketing spend, we want to be able to have all their contact information, their manager's contact information, and how do we get in touch with them? And so I think looking at marketing as, yes, we have to be everywhere at all times and backlinks and get people to our website and social media posts and the frenzy of marketing, this helps to keep it grounded, keep it in a systematic, process-oriented approach. And then we can relate the plans that we've executed to the sales that we've made. So if we have a marketing plan that's being executed or has been executed in the last 2 weeks, we can directly relate that marketing plan spend to the sales, leads, and opportunities that have come in. And so this is a way to use our linked record field to say, for this deal that we have, here are the opportunities that were created because of this marketing plan. So obviously just creating a linked record that is linking 2 separate solutions together into one. And where he's saying, I want to link this record of this plan to this particular opportunity, deal, lead in our pipeline. So validating your marketing spend. Not just, hey, we made a beautiful marketing campaign. Isn't it gorgeous? And here's all the places that we are listed. And here's where we're serving ads. No, what are the actual leads that came in? Is this creating revenue? Is it paying for itself? Or we can say, you know what, this one was a dog. It didn't produce any fruit. Let's get rid of it. Let's never do that again. And we could create a comment section on efficacy of marketing of this program. So I know that's a lot of information to take in, but I think what's really important is that you are actually relating different processes in your organization to your overall go-to-market strategy. Could you do that with a separate CRM tool, a separate marketing tool, a separate product management tool. Yeah. If you want to not have them relate to each other, not have them connect, and not have them be on one pane of glass. And so I think that's really important. Sorry. Avi, if you'd like to be next and continue the discussion, that would be great.
Sure. Thank you for that. And so I'll just dive in really quickly. We already touched on sales and marketing. And that's a great point that you brought up in terms of just correlating things within the same platform, one to another, and keeping track of things. The next thing we can go into is product management. And so again, we actually have a very advanced product management suite internally. But again, we manage our full product. As you can tell, it's a pretty robust product and a lot going on and a lot of teams, a lot of different people involved in every feature that comes out, from design to QA to dev, mobile, web, etc. But it's all being managed within SmartSuite. And this is a basic template. You see the sprints, and then you can set up views for each sprint. I think that's how we have it internally, where there's a view for each sprint that shows you just that sprint and all the different things. You have the epics and the sprints are linked. So, and then you see the user stories and the actual features. You can see
Avi, while you're in features, what I love the best about features is in SmartSuite, in our own implementation of this, we link those features back to a customer. And we say, you know what, we really love this customer. We love this feature idea. Let's put it on our roadmap and have people vote on it and determine how likely others would be to use a feature like this and how much it is required or needed or nice to have. And so when we deliver these features, after we prioritize them based on customer need, functionality, and so forth, we're happy to report back to that customer and say, hey, you know what? We really value you. You've asked for this feature and here it is. You've got it. And so Avi's really instrumental in gathering feedback. And we'll talk about feedback in a little while, but he's really instrumental in gathering feedback, and feedback leads to features. Features leads to enhancing the product, leads to new releases for your benefit. And it's all related to the customer journey, customer success, CRM, how we market the product, and so forth. And it's all on one pane of glass. I can't stress that enough. I know I'm saying it over and over again, but that is truly a benefit. So Avi, please, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, please. That was amazing. User stories we have over here, and you can have this yes or no button, which is really cool. I love this. So it's really cool how you can just create buttons and have just kind of use these different fields to track whatever your unique process is. You have these sliders, and then you can run different filters and reports. We use this a lot, right? Let's say you want to only look at features that are ready to estimate. All you have to do is just run a quick filter and say, show me the ones that are ready to estimate or needs estimate. And there we go. And so this is really powerful. We have the requirements and they're all interlinked. And as Tara said, in this template, they're all linked one to another, the sprints to the epics, the features, the user stories. But it becomes very easy to start saying, okay, let's start linking user stories to actual customers. And Tara was saying before, I can just search for my CRM over here and link them to the pipeline. And I can even set up a filter that says only allow we're only linking features to closed won customers, because we're not going to really link features to customers that haven't signed with us yet. And so now I get to choose anytime that I'm coming in here, I get to choose all of my customers that already converted. And at this point, I only have one, but I can easily create new customers or go back into the CRM. And as I have more customers in there, I can just link my user stories to actual customers and start tracking them. And I can even have lookup fields that tell me the total dollar amount. And then I know each feature, how much dollars it's worth to us, and all sorts of really interesting processes that you can run out of here.
Avi, I will add one thing. Let's say that you and your startup are trying to land a particular customer and you're lacking one particular feature in your product that they really have to have in order to make the switch to your product. You can then link that important deal and understand the dollar amount, the revenue that would come to you, and the prestige of having that customer with having this feature. And again, one platform shows you the linkage between those two things. If, let's say, someone is not part of SmartSuite, but you want to share with them, hey, here's all your feature requests, customer. Here's how I can send them a link to this report that they'll be able to see anytime there's movement on those features, or any other report really in this grid view. I can filter this down to be just their customer requests and show them where these are in the pipeline. And it's an ongoing communication with an external non-SmartSuite user. Otherwise, you would have to export this into a spreadsheet and then obviously clean up the data and make it presentable to the customer and send them an email and all that other stuff. Here, it's one click, share view. Here it is. Anytime you want to see where your features are in this progression, just click on this link. You'll always have access to this report. Another really amazing collaborative feature of SmartSuite.
Yep. I love the share view. It's also right, like it allows you to dynamically get new information. Typically, when you send a spreadsheet, that doesn't update itself. So you have to download a new spreadsheet the next time information is updated versus like this.
So I had a customer who he does social media for realtors. And he said that he was able to save his customer 40 hours per year. So 1 work week per year by automating manual tasks. So if this customer did the same manual task and the task took 3 minutes and he did that task 10 times a day, and he was able to automate that to be less than 1 minute, 10 times per day, he saved that customer 40 hours. I'm not a math person. Anybody who knows me knows that I'd have to get my calculator out to validate those numbers. But this guy was, and this customer was so happy with 40 extra hours in his life to do more productive things that he immediately switched over to SmartSuite because it was just an easier way for him to manage his business just through automations.
That's a great ROI. We should be charging more than $10 a month.
Not for startups. Startups need the $10 per user per month plan so that they understand they're getting a huge kickstart on how they are managing their business so they can pay attention more to their customers, more to creating their business. And that leads me to maybe perhaps tracking how they get funding. So many startups look for funding, either Series A or angel fundraising. And so we give you an opportunity to create a separate customer relationship management or contact tracking of all of your fundraising opportunities. Who are the people that you are targeting that you want to see involved in your fundraising? What's the name of the company? Are there critical contacts there? What round are you looking for? Is there a likelihood that they're going to invest in you? How many meetings have you had? What data have you disclosed? Add documents that you've shared with them based on ARR and all of the other cool stuff that they look at when they're evaluating whether or not to invest in your company. Now, most owners of businesses keep that up here or in a spreadsheet or in a series of emails in a folder someplace without having the ability to have a quick look at really of all of these companies that are interested in investing in us, who's the most likely to? Where do we need to spend our time? How much more do we have to contact them, show them what data do we owe them? What have we already shared with them? It's all right here. And so I hope that we've been able to prove to you the economies, certainly, of using a platform such as SmartSuite to scale your startup for creating your product, capturing more business, generating marketing, understanding the value of your marketing as it pertains to sales, and then also hiring and retaining talent and looking for funding. I'd like to stop there if we can, unless Avi, there's something else you absolutely need to show, and talk about perhaps, or listen to perhaps some questions from the group and see if anyone has anything that they want to understand a little bit more of.
No, this was a great one. I'm going to stop sharing and let's take some questions.
Okay.
If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. We can allow you to speak up, or you can type it into the chat.
I think we're good.
Okay.
I do. Well, I thank everyone for coming. Thank you for being part of this. Avi, really thank you so much for demonstrating the functionality and listening to some of my requests and direction. Other than that, I don't think.
Thank you, Tara.
All right. Everyone have a great day. Take care. Thank you.
Bye.